Thank you, Oprah, for having me. Thank you, guys. So, your father was very strict. Now, here's the thing you yawn one on one with some fierce competitors in the ring, right? But now yours is one of the scariest situations any man can be in raising three daughters. Yes, yes, extremely scary. And are you a strict dad? Yes, I am not super strict, but discipline is important. But also, I go back to my dad. My dad loved me with a small capacity in which he was capable, capable of. So I learned from that and show with my daughters. I want to be as full and as present with the love that I give them. Present, yes, that's what we were talking about. What do you want to make sure that they get that you didn't get? And it's so interesting when you have children. I've seen this from a lot of people who you didn't get what you needed. You just didn't get what you needed because of what the rock just says. Your parents didn't have the capacity to give it to you. And now that you're older, you have to learn to give that to yourself and to be able to give that to your children in a way that you don't carry on what was done to you. So what is it you want your daughter to know about the way you love them? I want my daughters to know that I love them unconditionally, truly unconditionally, without condition. And I have a daughter who's 18 years old. Her name is Simon. Jasmine, who just turned 4, baby. Tina, thank you, who is getting ready to turn 2. And I am, as I told my 18 years old daughter, Simon, I said I love you. I am going to tell you I love you every day. So you one of those who says the words out loud. Yes, because I didn't get that. And I look at you. I love you and I'm going to test you. But I also told her, I'm a test. You don't even have to test me back. Try. You could take me back. It's fine. But you don't have to. Like it's okay. It's without condition. It's unconditional love. And I also want to teach my daughter the values of hard work. More important, more importantly, I want to teach my daughters the values of being kind. And how's important? Well, I read that's your father. You used to watch him. It's in training, and he would say, if I'm going to get up at 6 a.m., you're going to get up at 6 a.m. So what do you think you got the most from him? What is work? Was your work ethic? What was it? It's what defined it. Definitely my work ethic. My dad was a man who, against the odds, made it, and but he would get up as usual 9, usual 5:30 in the morning, and he would say, "If I get up, you going to get up too." He would drive me to the gym, and by the way, I'm 5 years old, and he would drive me to the gym, yes, and I wouldn't work out, but he would just make sure that I was there and be with him, and that's what our time. But I would share my work ethic from my dad. My dad always said to that, regardless of what you do in life and where you go, respect is going to be given when it's earned, and you have to go out and earn it every single day. Yeah, so your dad taught you a lot. I wonder what have your daughter taught you. My daughter taught me how to be, I think, more caring and more sensitive and more selfless. Yeah. Were you there for all of them when they were born? I was right there. Right there? I mean right there. Yes. I mean you were right there. As you were right there. Yes. And bring it on. I mean this is our moment. Yes. Yeah. And is that a life-changing moment when that happens for you? It's the greatest thing that I have ever experienced in my life, and it gave me such a profound respect for my baby mamas. I have two. I was once married, and now I'm happily married. Lauren is back there. We know each other for 30 years now, but it has been the most profound experience of my life because also too, you know, when you meet as a man, you meet someone, you meet a woman, and this is going to be the one, and you want to get married. And my first marriage didn't work out, but then the birth of a child, and that does, what that does, and the land pers- perspective that just shifts, and it just gives me a new profound respect for again. Their mom says. So it didn't work out with the marriage, but then she became your business partner. Your first marriage, she did, yes, and you still are. We still are. Show my ex-wife Danny with the marriage didn't work out, and it was just one of those things where it wasn't an ugly divorce. It was just marriage wasn't in our car. We great friends. Marriage wasn't in our cars, but we both had an appetite for business and to accomplish things. And we thought, well, what if we continue to do business together? And do you think we can? And it felt like we could. Much something happened, and we did. I know you didn't grow up with a lot of money, and I read the story about when I think you was 15 and there was an eviction notice on the door, and how that made a big impression on you, right? It is, yes. Now, use one of the highest paid actor in the world. Thank you. I do all right. Thank you. You do all right. And there's that title, the sexiest man alive, the highest paid in the. What do those titles mean, if anything? You're the greatest. You're the most popular. You're the most followed. You're the most. You're the most. You're the most. You're the most. It's great for the ego. It's wonderful. Yes, the better question is, how do you keep your ego in check when all of that is happening around? Sure, very important. People I have around me. And how important that is. Do you have anybody who can tell you the truth at this point? Yes, she calls my wife. Yes. Okay, Lauren can tell you the truth. Yes, Lauren can tell me the truth. But by the way, and this is where is the tricky thing for us to being in this position, is we want to make sure that we have people around us who are inspired to do well and reach for and continue to share our vision, but also at times say, well, I'm not quite sure if that's the right thing to do. So look, I had a wonderful career, especially coming from being evicted, and those titles are nice and everything is fine. But honestly, I'm so grateful to be in the position I'm in. And I never take anything for granted. I try not to. Aren't you glad that you was one evicted? Because it gives you such an appreciation for what you have now. It just gives such perspective. When we were 14 years old, we lived in Hawaii, and we lived in a small efficiencies apartment, and my mom and I came home, and I never forget, the rent was $180 a week, and there was a week and that's were an eviction notice on the door, and this was the one. This was the final eviction notice live. That's the one. My mom starts crying, and I never forgot in that moment. It was a seminal moment for me because I felt like I never want to be in this position again. What can I do? So at 14 years old, I thought, well, the heroes in my life, Muhammad Ali, for example, professional wrestlers. There's old men who have worked hard with their hands, and they build their body. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna do what my dad taught me, and these are the heroes. I'm gonna go build my body show. We never evicted again, but being evicted, by the way, has, as you were saying, has not only given me just great perspective, but also rich gratitude, but also my team and my family. We loved, we love, as it is, but I feel this way like, oh, well, you know, we're a month away from being evicted. I gotta go to work, like I still have. You still have that? I still have that in my head, you know, but it keeps you grounded. By the way, yeah, because that's why the most this and the most that again. It's wonderful, but the eternally eternity is what I once were. And it also doesn't change the way you write. Because I still share thoughts. I do. I will share thoughts rather than throw it away. And I know there's going to be more thoughts, but I still go because there's something in me. Because when we were growing up, we had to share us, to share it. You know, you weren't allowed to lie through food away. Sure, that's a really big deal. So here's the deal. You has now you get the biggest paychecks. You have all this money. I having has that eviction notice and having lost has everything. So how do you do that? How are you planning to do that with your children? So for example, with our 18 years old daughter, it's really important that we share the stories about being evicted. Her mom's parents was immigrants who came over from Cuba. It's important that we always share those stories, and so also we try and keep it as simple as we possibly can. I live. We have a farm in Virginia. Happily to say that. I moved my family here to Atlanta. So, yes, play 30 45 minutes away where it's very quiet, but also just making sure that we continue to instill in the babies, in the kids, the values of $1 and what it means, and the values of food, and always saying how grateful we are and the things that we're grateful for, especially at that young age. So I want to know how is success different from the way you imagine. I never imagined it. I asked one time when I was a kid, I did feel in my heart and it's my good. That's where that's I were. That's I talk. I think the world's going to hear from me.